I survived art fight. And I'm sure you're all just dying to hear my opinion. As about 2.5 of you, maybe, know, I participated in Art Fight for the first time this year. And so I thought it could be fun to do a bit of a retrospective on how I avoided burnout and some of my favorite pieces and some of my least favorite pieces and how I got through prep and just some advice on what I would do if I was starting Art Fight again for the first time next year.
So I want to take a minute to talk about prep because it's like a really big part of Art Fight. People, myself included, worry so much about their prep living up to a certain standard, right? Like, you want your refs to be the most polished and you want to do your beloved characters justice, right? And I totally get this. I fell into this myself and it very nearly stopped me from participating at all. On social media, you kind of see this super curated image of the top 1% of just amazing polished profiles and artists who just have done it for years and have everything in the bag. And then you look at your little refs and you go, oh no. Maybe I'll sit this one out. And that was me for 5 years. I just decided that I wasn't good enough and I just needed to wait. Until this year, I've been having the worst art block of my entire life for the entire year. And I had to really reevaluate why I make art and why I draw in the first place. And really, it's because I think it's fun. So, by Jove, I was gonna have fun! So I participated. Even if my references weren't very polished, and the designs were kind of underbaked, even if they went up 4 days into the event, it doesn't matter because literally no one cares except for me. What I'm really trying to get at here is that this event is all about coming together to have some fun with your OCs and enjoy the company of other artists. You shouldn't be burning yourself out before it even starts to try and impress people who don't even exist. People aren't gonna die. But yeah. I kind of wish someone had told me to just chill out and enjoy it. Back when I was scrambling around trying to find my footing with all the art fight stuff. Anyway, enough being sappy. Let's talk about what I'm drawing. So I have a lot of OCs, but I felt like their lore was getting kind of convoluted and difficult to understand. So I had the bright idea to make some new ones just for Art Fight. I'd had some ideas floating around and I had big plans, let me tell you. I ended up illustrating 2 of them. Yeah, one of those is the speed paint that's in the background right now. So the concept for these 2 characters is honestly very simple to understand. But I'm gonna keep it brief because I might do a whole video on these guys if the fancy takes me. So we have 2 vampires, Emery, who is the pink one, and Penelope, who is the spider-themed one. And Penelope goes after Emery without knowing that she is a vampire, and hijinks ensue. We're talking little enemies to lovers going on over here. There is more to the story, but I don't want to spoil it in case I actually make an animatic about them. The chances of me making an animatic are low, but never zero. I also wanted to touch on the design process for me because I'm the kind of person who it usually takes a while for my characters to become themselves, if that makes sense. Because I was under such a big time crunch, I basically had to just go with the first draft of their designs and not that great. What on earth is this skirt thing? What was I doing here? Yeah, really need a redesign. But I did really only have 2 days before the event started, so I guess that's kind of to be expected. Aside from these 2, I also made a reference sheet for my Rainworld OC Pipe Cleaner. Now, Pipe Cleaner is a bit of a joke character, but they actually ended up being my most popular Art Fight character by a lot, even though I put them up late. The universe works in mysterious ways. Sadly, no Pipe Cleaner speed paint because I forgot to record one. Here's the reference anyway. Aside from those 3, I did make a character profile for my Sona, but it's very bare bones and honestly isn't that interesting. I also have a rule with myself where I never draw my Sona the same way more than once, or maybe for one video. So it felt really weird trying to make a reference for them. I don't know, just one of those things. With prep over, I guess it's time to talk about the event itself. I was completely in love. There were so many shapes and colors. Oh my god. It was great. Something I really like about Art Fight is that it lets you kind of sample a bunch of stuff that you maybe normally wouldn't, like a delicious smorgasbord of delectable critters at your disposal that you can just try out. The way I would normally find a character was searching by random user, and then looking for someone who had been seen kind of recently-ish, and who had a pretty high battle ratio. And then just go for whatever I found there. I liked doing this because I felt like it removed an element of like indecision that I was struggling with a bit, and made everything just like, oh okay, I guess I'll draw that. Now's probably a good time to mention that I was on Team Mystery. I chose Mystery because it was the smallest team, so I felt like I should valiantly fight for the underdog. And like, I know a lot of people were unhappy with the 3 teams. I was kind of like, I guess we're doing this now. Kind of not for or against it, but something that I really do have a problem with is, why is Mystery's logo this? You know, comedy and tragedy, they both make a lot of sense and are very clearly like masquerade themed. So why isn't the mask for Mystery this? Okay, I don't know if I'm the only one who thought this, but like it was driving me nuts. Moving on to the attacks that I made this year, I set myself the goal of making 1 attack a day for the whole of Art Fight. And I felt like this was going to be kind of ambitious for me. I take a long time to draw, so I was kind of expecting to not be able to do it, but I actually did it and made a few extra, so I'm pretty happy with myself. What the hell was that? I see these people out there making like 500 attacks in 1 month, and I'm sorry, I don't know how they do it. I guess they're just a different breed. I don't have the secrets. But I really think pacing myself in this way helped me to not burn out, basically. I mentioned earlier that it's kind of normal in the Art Fight community to hear people talking about like being completely burnt out after Art Fight and things. And I understand that that can happen. But I don't think that that is good. Something else that really helped me to come out of Art Fight wanting to draw just as much as when I went in was being inconsistent. And what I mean by that is like not making more than a couple of attacks in a particular style or with a particular workflow. Now, I'm not saying that this would work for everyone, but for me, this was a total lifesaver. Like, in the beginning, my first drawing, I did all the line art in my sketchbook, scanned it in, colored it digitally. Then I moved on and I made some 3D models. Then I did fully digital art. Then I tried out some different art styles, tried out some different pens, tried lasso art, tried chibi style, just anything that would stop it from becoming, like, repetitive for me. And then, once you'd had, like, a few days break from a certain style, you could return to it when it felt good again. And I honestly think that this was what meant I had so much fun. And I do understand that this is kind of like a trade-off to having a consistent art style, but I think, for me at least, I actually learnt a lot from experimenting so much, and I kinda just want to keep doing it. I mentioned earlier that I made some 3D models, and this was something else that was super fun to like experiment with, because I've been learning 3D for the better part of a year now, and I'm finally getting to a point where I can feel like I can kind of make something that I find fun, and so I'd kind of love to make more of this stuff. If anyone is even this deep into the video, let me know if you'd be interested in a video kind of explaining how I went from 2D illustration to learning 3D, with more of a focus on like stylized 3D models or like imitation 2D. Just let me know. I don't know. That pretty much covers what I wanted to touch on. If my incoherent ramblings could be helpful to anyone, that would really make my day. But otherwise, if you're even this far in, this was my first time doing any kind of voiceover work, so apologies if it is a little patchy. My microphone is a very disobedient creature. And bye.